began asking questions on forums and support tickets in public. The pressure was building, and there was nothing left to absorb it. By late 2018, that moment had arrived. QuadrigaCX was not a cryptocurrency exchange. It had not been for some time. It was a fraud. Here's the detail that changed everything. 12 days before Gerald Cotten flew to India, he rewrote his will. On November 27, 2018, he updated his last will and testament. He left his estate to his wife. He detailed his assets, his properties, his personal accounts, his registered investment funds. He arranged everything neatly and carefully. He was 30 years old, fit enough to volunteer abroad. People do not typically rewrite their wills 12 days before a routine trip, especially not when they are 30. The Ontario Securities Commission launched its own investigation. In 2020, they published their findings. Their conclusion was precise and devastating. QuadrigaCX had been operating as a fraud from its earliest days. From the beginning, Cotten had maintained what the report called ghost accounts, fake customer profiles that existed only in QuadrigaCX's internal records, not on any blockchain. He used these phantom accounts to inflate trading volume, to make the platform look larger and more legitimate than it was. When real customers deposited real money, some of it was never invested at all. It was spent on properties in Nova Scotia, on a sailboat, on personal expenses, on increasingly desperate trades on outside platforms where nobody knew his name. But here's the strange part. The death certificate was issued in India. The hospital confirmed the death. The body was returned to Canada and buried, but the documentation surrounding Cotten's death contained inconsistencies that investigators and journalists found difficult to dismiss. The death certificate listed his name with a spelling variation from his legal name. The circumstances were difficult to independently verify, and the timing. The fraud was collapsing. Withdrawal requests had been piling up for months. The gap between what was owed and what existed was widening beyond any concealment. In January 2019, a group of affected customers formally petitioned Canadian authorities to exhume Gerald Cotten's body and confirm his identity through DNA testing. Without independent biometric confirmation, they argued, there was no certainty the man in that grave was Gerald Cotten. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police announced they were reviewing all evidence to determine if criminal offenses had occurred. The exhumation never happened. The body was not exhumed. The identity of the man in that grave has never been independently confirmed by DNA analysis. 115,000 people were still waiting for their money. Some had deposited savings. Some had deposited retirement funds. Some had deposited everything they had, believing cryptocurrency was the future. The Ernst and Young recovery process located some assets. Properties were sold. Cotten's wife agreed to return approximately $12 million under a settlement that did not require her to admit any knowledge of the fraud. Out of $190 million owed, creditors recovered less than 30 cents on the dollar. Forum threads from those months are filled with people describing what the loss meant to them. A retirement fund, a child's education savings, a decade of careful work, gone. None of them had done anything wrong. They deposited money into what looked like a legitimate registered exchange. Everything Cotten built was designed to look real, because the only way a fraud survives long enough is by being indistinguishable from the thing it is pretending to be. Gerald Cotten's laptop still exists. Investigators have it. It is encrypted. The password has never been found. Whether that password ever protected $190 million in customer funds, or whether it protected nothing at all, may never be known. A 30-year-old man built Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange. He made himself the only person who understood how it worked, the only person with the passwords. And then he was gone. He traveled to India in December 2018. And by the time investigators looked inside his wallets, the money his customers trusted him to hold had been gone for months. The Ontario Securities Commission called it a fraud. The blockchain called it a series of outgoing transactions. 115,000 customers called it the worst financial decision of their lives, and the man at the center of it is either buried in a cemetery in Nova Scotia or somewhere else entirely. The laptop is still encrypted, the cursor is still blinking, and nobody, not Ernst and Young, not the RCMP, not any investigator, knows the password. One question before you go. Do you think Gerald Cotten is actually dead, or did he plan this from the very beginning? Drop your answer below.